up, everyone? Sapphire Builds here for another episode of Gagged or Rag. Today I'm going to be reviewing the runway looks as well as touching base on the performances of the queens on RuPaul's Drag Race Season 13, Episode 4. So before we get into all of my thoughts and opinions, just make sure you guys hit the subscribe button down below so you guys can join the small family I got going on here. Like this video so you can support my growth on this platform. And lastly, comment down below your thoughts on this episode so we could chit chat a little bit. Now that you guys did that, which I hope you guys did, now we can hop into the video. Today the queens had to overact in Rupaulmark Channel Originals, which is basically just a parody of the Hallmark Channel holiday movies. And the runway category for the main stage was Trains for Days. First queen up is Denali, and Denali is serving up this Quasimodo, if I'm not mistaken, that's how you pronounce it. Don't kill me. But it's basically a Mexican, Mesoamerican bird. It's a bird from her culture, and she is rocking the hell out of it on the runway. She has this corset with all these beautiful feathers that are just the same colors as the bird, and her train is enormous, filled with ostrich feathers. She made sure to let us know those were ostrich feathers and not chicken feathers. This look is gorgeous, like gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And I just have to say, I love that she took the Trains for Days runway into a completely different route than most of the other girls did. You know, all the other girls for the most part did a garment, and Denali said, no, I'm gonna be a bird from my culture. So hands down, I have to give her a gag for this look. She looks stunning. And for her performance in the acting challenge, unfortunately, Denali did choose the largest role in her group, so she had the most lines, and she was basically carrying the whole skit herself because she was in every single scene. But unfortunately, that didn't play out well for her. I'm not gonna say she was the worst because in my opinion, she truly wasn't the worst. She wasn't terrible. It really just flatlined, and unfortunately, since she was in every scene, it just really made her look bad because she didn't get better in between the scenes. It was just very one note. So unfortunately, her performance is gonna be a rag. Up next is Olivia Lux, and on the main stage, she described this look as a Rococo, Baroque, Beethoven-inspired fantasy. And straight off the bat, I got that. She looks stunning. This lavender color looks amazing with her skin, and she has all of the gold embellishments all around the hems, the boots, like everything about this look is stunning. If I was gonna say one thing that could have been a little bit better was like her train could have been a little bit more dramatic, but honestly that's just me nitpicking because the challenge was Trains for Days, so we could have used a little bit more of a larger scale train. But aside from that, Olivia looks amazing, and this is gonna be a gag. And for her performance in the acting challenge, she was in Denali's group. And honestly, she was probably the only funny one in the group. Every scene that she was in, she pretty much carried that scene. All the other queens were not really delivering. She played the little old dying lady that was in the nursing home. Her makeup looked great and very much gave old age. So props to her on that, because not everyone is an amazing makeup artist. So props to her on that. She looked amazing, and her performance is gonna be a gag. Next up, we have Elliot with the 2 T's. And Elliot with the 2 T's is serving up this all-white bodysuit belted fantasy. She looks very pretty, and her hair looks great. But this look really is just a sparkly bodysuit with a belted train on it. The train is gorgeous, don't get me wrong. It's very big, and it's very nice the way it's moving when she's walking. I would have liked to see the train incorporated into the garment a little more, just so it didn't look like 2 separate pieces that she just put together. But aside from that, I think Elliot looks very pretty, and I'm just gonna give her a meh for this one because she didn't look bad, but also the look was just not amazing. So it's just gonna be a meh. I'm not mad at it. And in the acting challenge, Elliot was playing a ditzy fairy character. And I mean, I do have to say, she kind of got lost in the background for me. She didn't really have any funny moments or anything that was like groundbreaking. I feel like her acting was just one note. Just off the top of my head, I can't really even think of any key things that Elliot said or anything that was like very funny. So I'm gonna give her performance a rag. Next up on the runway, we have the ever so stunning Kimora Hall. And Kimora is serving up this Asian inspired dragon fantasy. Oh my god, this is just so gorgeous. Like, she truly ate up the runway. This look looks extremely expensive. The tail being a dragon tail was gorgeous. I love that the top half of the dress was just a very gorgeous, like, stunning gown. But going down lower into the gown, it gave a little bit more camp and it looked a little more cartoonish. I think this look was like a home run. She looked incredible, and this is gonna be a gag. For her performance in the acting challenge, let's just say she was there. You know, she was a part of the scene, and yeah, that's about it. It was pretty bad. It was very, very, very flat, and she couldn't even get out the iconic line from Tyra Banks.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you?
And obviously this performance was a rag. Now on the runway, we have Simone, and Simone is serving up this teal tracksuit number that has a corset underneath, and she has embellishments that like match the corset on the hem of the tracksuit pants. And then the train for this look was a long ass do-rag. And honestly, as soon as she came out on the stage, I was gagged. Like, I was just so gagged because Simone is truly representing for her culture in such a high fashion way. This was such an innovative take on trains, and I just can't get enough of Simone. This look is a gag. And for her performance in the acting challenge, Simone had the leading role in her scene. She was playing a angry lesbian, and her performance was great. Honestly, the whole way through, she was in every scene, and every scene she was incredible. She put her own little flair into the character, and I have nothing bad to say about it. She did an amazing job. So this is gonna be another gagged. Next we have La Ree, and La Ree on the runway is serving up this snake fantasy that is gorgeous. She has her entire face covered. Only thing that's peeking through is her eyes. And just like she said, her eyes are just piercing through. I was very surprised when Lala made it onto the runway because this was pretty elevated and not really what I was expecting from Lala. She looks incredible. I love this long train moment. And then she reveals it to this more streamlined train that was just beautiful as well. Lala really knows how to sell a garment on her stage, and I'm so here for it. This look is a gag. And for her performance in the challenge, I have to say she wasn't my favorite. She kind of got lost for me in the background as well. She didn't look that great. She was wearing a rainbow dress and her like panties were just showing. And I don't know if that was part of her character, which it very much could have been. But I just wasn't getting anything from it. It was very flat. She was just there. Wasn't anything out of this world. You could tell she was in her head a lot. So I'm going to give her performance a rag. Following up, we have Utica. And on the main stage, Utica is serving up a Gone with the Wind Carol Burnett reference. She's legit wearing like a curtain and a curtain rod, and she looks like a window. But I love this. All of the fabrics that she's wearing look expensive. The way that she has like a huge skirt, and the train was long as well. I love this look, honestly. I think it was very on brand for Utica as well. So it is going to be getting a gagged. And now for Utica's performance in the acting challenge, she did all right. She didn't do terrible. She was just there. She was playing like a stoner hippie, and I think that the role was really good for her. She maybe had like one or two funny lines in there. She didn't really have too many lines to begin with, so she doesn't have the most memorable part, but she didn't do terrible. So I'm gonna give her performance a meh. Now we have Rosé, and Rosé is wearing this blue 80s tuxedo on the runway, and the train is just a whole bunch of tulle that's attached to the back of the tuxedo. The main thing I love about this look is that blue color. I'm just a sucker for the color blue, so I love that blue color. I love the color of the suit. I love the way it was broken up with the silver lining around the blazer and whatnot. I just wish that there was a little bit more broken up because she really did look like a big blue blob on the stage. I'm not gonna say this is a bad look because there were a lot of things that I did like about the look and a few things that I didn't like. But the main thing that I didn't like was the train, and that's the whole runway category. So I am gonna give this a ragged. And Rosé's performance in the challenge was really good. They were giving her this like storyline throughout the episode where it seemed like she was gonna do bad, but honestly I think she was extremely funny. She delivered all of her lines perfectly. Her and Simone worked very well together as well, and overall I'm gonna give her performance a gagged. Next up we have Gottmik, and Gottmik is wearing this trans flag inspired look that I don't really care for, unfortunately. She kind of looks like she got caught in the wind. I don't really like this look on her. It doesn't really have much structure on the bodice. Either does the train, the quote unquote train. It's pretty confusing. I don't really care for this look and I am gonna give it a ragged. But in the acting challenge, Gottmik actually surprised me. She had the leading role in her scene and she actually did a very good job. She brought a lot of life into her character and she did what RuPaul asked, which was overact. So I'm gonna give this performance a gagged. Now we have Tina Burner on the main stage. So Tina Burner is the whole train conductor, and this look is cute. It's very well constructed and you can tell she really thought about all the details. But the same thing with Rosé, the main thing of the whole runway, which was the train, was the main thing I didn't like about her look. Her train was the train tracks themselves, and it kind of looked like an afterthought because it was just this very thin piece of fabric that had like the train tracks on it, and it just looked like it was glued onto the back of her garment. I can't appreciate all of the details and the construction in this outfit, but the same thing with Rosé, where the main thing that I didn't like about it was the runway theme. So I am gonna give this a ragged. And for Tina's performance in the challenge, she did an amazing job. You could tell she's a trained actor and she delivered all of her lines to the T. Her character had a lot of life to it, and overall she did an amazing job. So this is going to be a gagged for her performance. Next queen on the runway is Joey J, and Joey J is confusing me. Straight off the bat, I did not like this look when she turned a corner. I think she looked tiny, very, very tiny. And I know it was because she had that very large coat on. And then the boots that she was wearing came all the way up to where her jacket stopped. And it was like this gathered, bunchy kind of boot look. You could see it here. And I just did not care for it. She looked very short. I didn't understand the cherry blossom bodysuit underneath. The only thing I do like about this look is the actual train, which was a really awesome tongue that was pierced and it was coming out of her back, which also had a big set of lips. So I'm gonna give this look a meh because the train was good, which was the main thing, but the look overall just was not my favorite. So I'm just gonna give it a meh. Now for Joey's performance, I was pretty nervous for her watching the episode because it seemed like she was going to have a very tough time. And in some moments in the scenes, you could tell that she was overthinking a little bit, or she just wasn't looking at the camera and like her delivery wasn't that great. But I do have to say she pulled it together and she did a lot better than some of the other queens. So for her performance, I am going to give her a gagged. Now we have Candy Muse. And Candy is wearing this blood red, like leather and velvet look. Honestly, this is not flattering to Candy. I don't really like this. That wig, burn it, throw it out in the trash because it looked terrible on you. And this look just looks very unfinished. It looks like it's missing the rest of the train or the rest of the look. So I am going to give this a ragged. But in terms of the performance, home run. This was the perfect role for Candy. They just needed her to act like a clown, and that's what Candy is. She has a lot of personality and she's very funny. So she was able to just let loose and be as goofy as she'd like. And she did an amazing job doing it. So this is going to be a gagged. Lastly, gracing the runway, we have Tamisha Iman. And Tamisha is wearing this very hot pink jumpsuit number with the train behind it that is matching the jumpsuit. And this is really pretty. It's not my favorite. The train is large, but it's just like one piece of fabric, so it looks pretty plain. It's not the most exciting look, but Tamisha looks great overall. This color looks great, and I love that she's sparkling head to toe. So I am gonna give this look a gagged. And for Tamisha's performance, she was giving us like a little bit of a Cher impersonation. She was like the fortune teller machine thing. And she actually did better than I was expecting. Watching the episode, it kind of seemed like she was gonna do a very bad job. But she pulled it together, she delivered her lines well, and she actually had some funny moments. So I am gonna give her performance a gagged. So that is all in terms of runway looks and performance. So Simone ends up winning the challenge, which was very much deserved. She looked amazing on the runway, and her performance in the acting challenge was great. Unfortunately though, we have Denali and Kimora Hall as our bottom two. And I was pretty upset to see this because I didn't think that Denali was the worst. I think that there very much could have been another person with Kimora Hall because Lala's performance wasn't really great, as well as Elliot's and a couple other people that just fell flat for me. So I do feel like Denali wasn't the worst, but she was the leader of her team, so she has to take the fall for it. So they had to lip sync to 100% Love by Crystal Waters, and Denali really like murdered Kimora. Like, Rue didn't even have to think about it at all. He just immediately told Denali that she was staying. She tore that stage up, and sadly Kimora was wearing that gorgeous gown that she couldn't move in, so she really wasn't able to do much but stand there and lip sync her words. I have a feeling that Kimora very much knew that that was her time. I feel like she knew she wasn't going to be able to beat Denali in a lip sync, especially to that song that was so high energy. And sadly, the first queen we have to say goodbye to is Kimora Hall. So that is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me talk about the episode. Please make sure you guys subscribe down below and like this video. And if you made it to the end, comment down below and let me know who your favorite queen is so far. If you have nothing to do, I do have more videos that you can go and watch. And I hope to see you guys here for the next one. Bye guys. See you next time.